The other way is, even without premium, I was able to grind out this Centurion Mark I. No premium at all. Additionally, in the previous on track, I grinded out the Vickers A. And the trick is I can't remember what the European ones, I think they're on the line, possibly. I believe that's what they call them, or on the top events. And what you want to do is whenever you get on the top or on the line or whatever it's called in Europe, focus on that line, because all the tanks have a silver discount, silver being credits, if you will. Okay? And it makes those tier 8s more affordable. Additionally, if you find that you're playing a tier 6 or tier 7 game and you are not making any credits, you need to take the time to go back to the tier 5 and work on your core mechanics. And when I first started playing a year ago, I had the same issues. I would get up to tier 6 and get into tier 7, and all my games were negative credits, 200 experience, and for the life of me, I just kept grinding and grinding and grinding, and that's how I got this Vickers A, was I just 200 experience a game, maybe if I was lucky I got 600. And I took a long break from the game, came back, and I said, I know I can't play at this tier. I don't have the awareness, the map awareness, I don't have the skill sets. So I dropped back down and I started playing a tier 5, and I played the T-34 quite a bit. Additionally, with the, I believe it was the KV-1, KV-1S, and then another tier 5 tank. No, I don't have partnership with Twitch, and I don't have any kind of partnership with Wargaming. I just started streaming a week ago, so I don't have the dinero, the money to do giveaways. I don't have the access that established streamers have, right? Usually, when a streamer does a tier 8 tank giveaway, well, they already have subscribers, which they get $3.50 from each subscriber. They get donations, and they're able to afford their living costs and then to do giveaways to draw in viewers, to keep viewers to their channel. I don't have partnership with Twitch, so I don't have the subscription-based income. I don't have tips or donations going anymore right now. So I don't have the passive income most streamers have, as I just started. So the biggest thing is, don't die, take your time, don't rush at the enemy, learn the weak points of every tank. I know I showed you this fantasy, but I'm going to show you another website that I highly, highly, highly recommend. It's called tanks.gg, right? Or tanks.goodgame, that's how I remember it. And I was finding that I was having issues penetrating a lot of tanks or doing viable damage, okay? So what I did, let's say for this T-34, I came to my tank and I looked at my shove. I said, okay, I have 84 to 140 penetration. I'm at tier 5. Understood. Good, Lotta. Dog is asleep on the ground. She's right there. Asleep. Snoozy, snoozy. So we know tier 5s can pull up to, let's say, tier 7s, right? So I'd come to tier 6s and I'd look at the tanks. And I'd come back here and I'd say, okay, my penetration's 84 to 140. We'll say, on average, let's say 120 pen. 110 pen. That's what we're working with. 110 pen. And I'd come here to these tanks. and say, okay, what's the tank that I'm going to go against? Let's go Vickers. I'd look at the 3D model of the tank. I'd say average fighting distance is about like this. If they angle their armor, they're going to fight like this. And they're going to be aiming at me about like this, right? On a standard duel. And I'd come here and I'd look at their armor. So you see, okay, if I hit his LFP, it's going to ricochet. If I hit his upper deck here, because of the sloping, it's going to ricochet. If I look at his frontal armor, well, what do you know? It's 100, right? And you know that your average on your typical AP shell is going to be 110. So, if you aim more at the driver's hatch here, you increase your chance of penetrating into the guy's frontal plate. So you know you can pretty much brawl down a Vickers A with a T-34. And by slinging your AP, you're not spending silver on APCR. APCR is good in very clutch positions. You don't want to just sling APCR, or your gold round, if you will. Because, frankly, you start to rely on it so much that you don't learn the weak spots of tanks. So by just using your AP as your general guide and looking at your tank's GG, you can get a pretty good idea of what positions you can actually do damage to these tanks with your standard shell, which is cost effective. So if you're able to increase your damage output, let's say in a tier 5 game, you're able to pull off 1,000 damage a game. You'll be making enough credits. You should pull in 25 to 30,000 credits every game. And about, I think, 650 to 850 experience per game. And you just keep doing that until you feel really comfortable about fighting at that tier. And then you just move up to tier 6 and you say, well, tier 6 games, you'll be looking up to tier 8. And you just look at the tanks and get a good feeling for what you can fight at that tier. And how you should fight it. And at what angles you should fight it. And just do a little homework. That way you're not taking shots. You'll see one of my stats here. Hits and shots, right? Typically 73% of my shots hit. And this is all time. This is since I've started playing. And 70% of my shots are pens. So I'm shooting at places when I shoot, I'm aiming, taking time to aim my shots, and I'm taking the time to learn the weak points in the armor, so all my shots count. That way, you're not spending credits hand over fist on ammunition, right? So that's the trick to getting tier 8 and above. Take your time, learn your basic core fundamentals. How do you side scrape? How do you angle your armor? How do you do hold down? How do you use slopes to actually do pop shots over angles that most people will not be looking at? And trying to effectively trade. If you know you can do 150 armor points damage and they only do 100 to you, you will be able to effectively trade them down for a kill. And all you have to do is ricochet one shot from them and you've won that trade. So just learn your core mechanics and build from there. Once you feel comfortable at one tier and you're winning and your credits are in the positive and your experience is above, let's say 750 or so every game, and you feel comfortable at that tier, move up to the next tier and progress that way. Don't progress because you can progress. Progressing because you can doesn't mean you should. Anyone can do surgery. You can do surgery. It doesn't mean you should do surgery. Anyone can hold a knife. It doesn't mean you should be a surgeon.